Hey tea heads, this is Don from Mayleaf. Under this towel is a tea which started with a rose. In 2023, I was sent a sample of rose by a supplier in Xinjiang province, just labeled Hotan Rose. Hotan is a place in Xinjiang province. I tasted it as I taste lots and lots of rose samples throughout the year because we source rose buds to sell. We've got purple rose, we've got pink rose, and we've also got a black tea blended with rose called black rose. So I'm used to tasting rose samples, but when I tasted this one sample, it just shocked me. It had these deep, rich, fruity and spicy notes. Cinnamon and strawberry is what I remember capturing in that smell and in that taste. And I was wowed. So a little idea popped into my head. It's like, this rose is so interesting, so unique, so special. Wouldn't it be amazing if I could blend this with a tea that was suited to it? And so I had this small sample of Hotan Rose, and I was tasting it with samples of tea, black teas, white teas, pu'er teas. And I quickly recognized that the flavor profile of this rose really suited well with Yancha, with rock oolongs, dark oolongs from Hui province. So a completely different province. And so I started to try to find the perfect Yancha for this rose. And so I reached out to all of my suppliers in Hui province, in Fujian, and got loads and loads of samples, tasting them with this small packet of sample of rose I was trying it out. Eventually, I found this one Yancha sample called Bairui Rogui. So it's a Rogui Yancha. Bairui means 100 flowers. So it's like this very aromatic, quite floral Yancha. And I thought, okay, perfect. I've got the perfect combination. I tried to arrange it, but lo and behold, the batch of Hotan Rose had sold out. Took a while. It took many months for me to find the blend. Anyway, so then I was like, okay, now I've got the Yancha. Let me try and get some rose that is the same. So I reached out to the same suppliers. They sent me loads of samples of Hotan Rose. None of them matched. None of them were the same as that original Hotan Rose sample. So it's just like tea, right? You find one batch, you've got to grab it because the same suppliers, different batch will provide a different tea. So, or different taste, tisane in this case. So now I was a bit stuck. I had found a tea, which I really loved, which I think would pair perfectly with rose, but I had lost the rose. So then I was now searching for rose samples everywhere. And I was searching everywhere for rose to find something that would be the same. Left Xinjiang, went to Yunnan. Eventually, I came across this pink rose sample from Dunan in Yunnan province that was different from Hotan, but was a mega pairing with this Yancha. Different in less cinnamon, but super fruity, incredibly fruity aromatics on this rose. And I thought, this is perfect. So we got a test pressing done of this Yancha and Dunan rose, and it blew me away. This was only a couple of months ago. We had to race to get a cover and get everything sorted because I wanted to release this tea after it's been over a year of me planning this tea, and I wanted to release it in 2024. So here, for your delectation, is a new tea cake, a Yancha mixed with Yunnan rose. This is called Hot Glove. Yeah, we've gone a bit funky on this cover. Hot Glove. I hope you can see that. I'll bring it here and hopefully it will focus on it. So this gloved hand, this leather glove holding this pink rose, which is just melting, just dripping all over it. Yes, it's got a little bit of a fetish quality to it. The font sort of shows that off as well we've gone different, we've changed fonts, we've changed styles, because this is a new style of tea, so it allows us to be extra creative. It was extra creative in the finding of this tea and the blending of this tea, and so we've gone for it with the cover. I really love the cover. I have to say, I'm not particularly happy with the paper that it was printed on. The reason I'm not happy is because it's, you know, it's a very fibrous paper, and so this black is not jet black, because it should be jet black. That's what we had hoped for. But we had this pressed in Fujian. They're not the same suppliers that we use to press in Yunnan province for our pu'er teas and for our white teas. So the artwork is great. Yeah, the paper could be a bit better, but I still think, wow, what a tea cake. I'm super happy to reveal this to you. So we're going to open this up. I'll put this one to the side, and you're going to see this tea cake. There you go. So I'll quickly scope this tea. The tea itself is the Rogue cultivar from July 2023 from Nanping, Wuyi, Fujian in China, medium leaves, and the approximate elevation is 1,200 meters. As I said, the rose is from Dunan in Yunnan, and we tasted so many roses. And I do think rose is just amazing. Nothing makes me happier than when the summer comes around and I go to the rose garden in London and sniffing all the roses, because the smell, the variation in rose is just amazing. And if you find, like, if you just taste 5 different rose samples, they'll taste completely different. You can see the color of this rose is just different. It's sort of reminds me of cherry or cascara color. It's also got these orange notes to it. So it's orange and a deep purpley red. An amazing rose, and blended perfectly with this. You can see this is machine pressed. So again, different pressing compared with our normal factories, but I think that you need to, with Yancha, you need to press it extra hard. It doesn't have the same curly texture where it all like curls up and naturally binds together. These are strip oolong, so they need to be pressed a bit tighter. So that's the scope on this tea. That's the story of this tea, but of course I need to taste it. Now, I did taste a sample a few months ago, quite a few months ago, and I loved it, but the production is always going to be different. Here we go. We're going to dive into this. Hot Glove. I hope you like the cover and the name. A little bit cheeky, a little bit, you know, as I say, sort of fetish-like, with the rose and the black leather and the colors and the neon. And Celine has gone for quite a sort of printed style, like screen printed style, where it's like less colors but more blocky, more poster art. But I just think it works super well. And if you want to get this on a t-shirt or on a hoodie, which I definitely do, go check out merch.mayleaf.com, because it is available there, and we'll get some stickers made up as well. But I'm excited. I'm super excited, because as I said, this has been a long time coming. I just, in my drawer of teas, of like experimental teas, this one has been sitting and just been looking at me for over a year. When are you going to find that tea? And then when I found the tea, when are you going to find that rose that works with it? So I'm going in with my extra fine pick. Got to be a bit careful here, because it breaks relatively easy, but I don't want to break too many leaves. So I'm going to leave it more in chunk form and let the water do the work. Because if I start to try to break this up, because it is a Yancha, it will break up. I'm just going to sort of test it out. Yeah, I don't want to do too much of this. I have not measured this, but I think that this is quite dense, and therefore you'll be surprised how many grams this is. Right. Take a look at the leaves here. There you go. Hopefully you can see those. We're going to heat up this guy one. And we're going to move into the first tasting of Hot Glove. First official tasting, at least. There's always potential variation when you go into the production of a tea from the sample, as many tea sellers will no doubt tell you. Right, so I'm going to put these in. It's probably going to be a lot of tea once it expands here. Move this out of the way. Keep this here, just so I can admire those leaves. Right, let's have a sniff of Hot Glove. Okay. First thing that hits you is, the first thing that hit me just now is the yencha. So I'm getting butterscotch, charred casks, just caramels, creme caramel. So creamy, so carameled, so cooked sugar. But then dancing on top of all of that, strawberry, crushed strawberries. Not strawberry jam, crushed fresh strawberries. Some blood orange. A touch of gardenia flowers. Creamier. The fruits mixed with that creamy note of the butterscotch just blend to make something very full spectrum. And I bet when you go to see this on the website, if you look at the flavor wheel, it's just going to be off the charts, because I can smell here. I've got fruits, I've got flowers, I've got creams, I've got woods, I've got like nuts, I've got all sorts. No greens really. So strawberry jam, gardenia, creme caramel, charred casks, vanilla, butterscotch, blood orange. Heady, as you would hope and expect. Crab is with me today. Smell of the wet leaf, although it's just starting to open up, so I'm gonna probably get a lot more with when I brew it out the first time. If I were you, I'd probably leave it now for a little bit, just to let the steam in the humid environment just to start to open up those leaves, but we'll move straight in. Oh, it's so bright. It's so intense, but interestingly, it's not in your face rose. And that's what I wanted. I didn't want this to be just like, oh, a rosy tea. In fact, you know, it's hard for me to know because obviously I know there's rose in it. But if you put this under my nose and you'd say just smell, I don't think rose would be coming off the list very quickly. It'll get there, but not very quickly. What I'm getting is lychee, mangosteen, plums, cherries, pear cider. So much fruit. This is the fruitiest of fruity teas. The gardenia is there. Let's move into the yencha territory. We've got red currants. We've got the charred woods, a little bit of craft paper, fudge. But then the tropical fruits, custard apple. Oh, it is a treat for the nose. And I was determined to get this out before Christmas. I'm talking to you from November 2024. Our sales are on, and I had hoped to get this before, but I was pushing really hard because we had to wait, find the tea, then find the rose. It took ages. It was only because the roses are from this year, so the roses are 2024. So it was only when I tasted the roses in August, September, that I was like, got it, go. But believe me, I would not have pulled the trigger if I didn't think that this combination was just immaculate. I spent over a year doing this. I wasn't going to just pull the trigger early just for Christmas. This truly, and I do think it's hard for me to know because I don't have the Hotan Rose anymore, but I do think that this is actually better than the combination with Hotan Rose, which was more like cinnamon and strawberries. This is just like the fruits on this rose just work so well with the yencha. Oh my gosh, I'm getting vinyl. It reminds me of a Dansong Oolong. You know how a raw peach orchid, a Milanxiang Dansong, all of those very fruity oolongs have that vinyl note. Vinyl, leather. I'm getting those leathers and vinyls. In fact, that's probably more like, instead of leather, I don't know what material it is, but something glossy and something you'd find in all sorts of interesting shops out there. And there's a little ring as well. The font, we've gone a little bit gothic in the font, but you'll see if you pick up the cake. So yeah, vinyl, leather. I know it's sounding like a broken record when I sniff these leaves and I just, freak out. This is just such an immense aroma. And don't forget that the oolong itself, 100 flower oolong, Rogué, is immense. So all of this is not just coming from the rose, it's coming from the combination. It's this blend of aromatics from the really fruity and flowery Rogué mixing with this rose and just creating the most amazing blend. And that is the point with blending for me. As you know, I do not blend teas often because I just think the tea is complex enough. And if you're going to do blending, then do it yourself. Have a tea and mix it with, experiment yourself. But when you find a blend that is just so immaculate, that works so perfectly, that the pairing creates the third flavor. So it's not just a complementary or contrast, but it's the two working together to create a sum which is greater than its parts. Then, and only then, do we press it into a cake. And as you can see, there is hella lot of leaf in here. So this is probably way too much. So learn from my mistake. You don't need that much. I'm going to have to do very quick brews. Color, sort of a pink tinged amber orange color. Texture, soft, oily, thick to start. Then as it dissipates in the mouth, the minerals of the Rogué come through, which will obviously be more accentuated in future infusions. But yeah, I'm getting that minerality, that quench to cooling to vaporous to juicy immediately. This is everything I'd hoped. The fruits, the flowers, the woods, the creams, the sugars, the rocks, they're all married together in the most harmonious, harem of flavors. It's just like, yeah, okay, I'm sexualizing it, but it's like they are literally, it's just an orgy of aromatics in this cup. All right, I'll stop there. It is amazing. You could do with a filter because of the fact that it's a Yencha, you're going to get more broken leaf. I don't mind, but again, learning as we go. Right. Oh my gosh, let's brew this up again. Took a while. It took a while, but we are here. I have a little drawer in my tea cupboard, quite a big drawer actually, which is literally just reserved for experiments. In there is just all sorts of experiments at different stages. I would say 80 to 90% of them, and they are all well-considered experiments. It's not just sort of like, let me just throw some stuff together. I consider these experiments, and then 80 to 90% of them don't take off. Look at the color of that. This is going to be strong. So much going on. The mangosteen, the lychees, the cherries, the plums, pear candy. It's like lighter than you'd expect, pear candy. There is a touch of like a light roasted coffee acidity. So if you've ever had like a very light roasted coffee, maybe it's a pour over coffee, so it's just really about accentuating the brightness. It's got that little bit of bitter, but that acidity. I talked about the pear cider, kombucha, those kind of acidic notes to it as well. Like even a touch of mango, but underripe mango, just that, which I love. I love mango that's a bit crispy. And it's just got that slight acidity, not too much. And it's all balanced out with that creme caramel and the butterscotch and the fudge. Aftertaste, already, the minerals in this Rogué are just slapping on this dry to tingly to juicy, and the juicy is mangosteen, pear. Notice I haven't even used the word rose yet. So that should tell you everything. So I will say there is a rose taste and smell to this, but it is so not dominating at all. Yeah, it's like mangosteen and lychee juiciness. Sweet. But please let me just, stress the point. The Yencha itself is a super high grade Rogué, and you can taste that. It's got so much going on with the minerals and the red currants and the flowers, the gardenia, all of these rocky fruit notes are happening. Cherries. It is genuinely the two together that is making, this incredible profile. But just by itself, that Rogué is something that I would 100% select to just sell as a standalone Rogué at Mayleaf. This is not some slightly lower grade Rogué or one that I didn't particularly love. This was a Rogué that I absolutely adored, and if I hadn't found the rose, I would have purchased anyway. One more brew of this before I take a little break. It's for me to sample further and have an idea of body sensation. It's just so delicious. It is so delicious. And then I'll smell the empty Gong Da Bei as well. Just realized that camera is not very well positioned, so we're going to have to go with this one here, and hopefully we get a pour. Right. Look at that. There's a lot in here. Too much in here. It's beautiful though. Those little specks. Ow, burning. Okay. Cheers. Hot glove. Sometimes you just gotta say it as you see it. It's a hot glove. We tried loads of different names. I was like, I'm trying loads of different, going down different angles. And then I just hot glove. Hot glove. It reminds me of Warm Leatherette, if you know that song. It's just like, for some reason, that soundtrack popped into my head. Okay, this is strong. So I'm getting more of that pull. I would brew it with less leaf in it, but you know me, I love it. Loads of red currant, cranberries. Has a Christmassy vibe to it. The charred woods, the cranberries, the red currants. But as if you're then having that Christmas in Thailand or something like that, where you've got the mangosteens, the lychees, the mangoes. Pear candy. Roses. So it's hitting the stomach, and I'm feeling this warming feeling arising from my stomach. Let me quickly smell the empty Gong Da Bei, which I know is going to be something else. Oh, the perfect marriage. Rum, vanilla, fudge, barrels, butterscotch, berry candy, cherry syrup, touch of lotus, little white flower bright notes, lychee. I mean, just pump this into any room, anywhere, and you'll have people swooning. This smell is just incredible. All right, I'm gonna go away. I'm gonna have maybe a few more infusions because there's a lot of leaf here, and I'll come back and let you know the body sensation. I've had 5 infusions of this, so I'll talk about the body sensation, but I realized when I switched off the camera that I hadn't focused that camera up there. So all of the shots that I thought I was getting from above, they're probably out of focus. So I thought I would just quickly show you the cake one more time from here, and I'll probably use this footage and cut it in earlier so that you can actually see what the cake looks like here. Good? Happy? Done? Fine. Right, this tea has gotten me lovely wasted. I am feeling hot, I'm feeling lively, I'm feeling just awake and warm and a little bit cheeky, and I feel like my head is in a little bit of a spiral. So it's sort of a vortex going up in my brain at the moment. I have drunk quite a few infusions that are very strong very quickly. So I do not anticipate that you will have as strong a reaction as I am having right now. If you used less leaf, you actually weighed it out and you brewed a little bit more sensibly. But I'm here to tell you, folks, that if you brew it strong, it will get you there. And this is getting me there. It's so delicious though. And I think that you know, moving into festive time, like there are certain blends that I think if you give it to like 95% of people who don't drink tea, they would still be like, whoa, what is that? That is a tea I've never had before. Because it sort of hits that right balance where it's like, okay, this is clearly fruits and flowers, but I really want to stress this point. The tea is still the star of the show. The yencha is still the star of the show. And so it shows off the joy of this tea. And I hope that it helps to make some conversions with your friends and family into the world of tea. All the flavor notes that are around me right now, and I guess that they're sort of looping quite far around me because there's a lot that I've talked about, are still present. The rose is still beautifully restrained, perfumed just enough, but not too much. The sugars are there. I'm getting muscovado sugar, so deeper, darker. I'm getting those little coffee notes in there. The leathers, the vinyls, moving up into the plums, the peaches, not so much peaches, the plums, the stone fruits, moving up into the lychees, the mangosteens, the mangoes, moving up into the pears and the red currants and the strawberries, like a full punnet, like a full market stall of the most amazing fruits. Combine that with lotus, with gardenia, with magnolia. It is immense. An immense tea, rich, redolent, bursting with aromatics, bursting with flavor, bursting with mouthfeel. Really potent in mouthfeel, potent in body sensation. But the beauty of it is that it all marries together in harmony and nothing is trying to overtake. No one element is trying to overtake the other, which is the power of a blend. As I get older, as we all get older, we have to make a decision in life. Do you harden or do you soften? And of course you need to soften. Harden is just going to make you brittle. Soften keeps you agile, keeps you flexible, allows you to move with whatever life throws at you. And I don't know why I started talking about that, but I feel that this blend is my movement into this sort of softening towards blends. But they have to have edge. They have to have intensity. They have to have character. They have to have uniqueness. So don't expect a whole load of blends to hit our shelf. When they happen, they will happen for good reason. And Hot Glove definitely fits the criteria for a blend. You can see I'm tea drunk. I'm just talking nonsense. All I've got to say is 500 in stock. 480 because I'm taking 20. Go grab it. That's it, tea heads. Check out other videos, taste our teas wherever you're in the world by browsing mayleaf.com, and come visit us if you're ever in London. Other than that, I'm Don from Mayleaf. Thank you for being a part of the revelation of true tea. I'm focusing to concentrate so I can say the words properly. Now I've messed up. Ciao for now.